What is up, guys? That's it here. So I got about a day to enjoy Wildstar as I take a break from other things, and I leveled my engineer to level 20. So what today's video is going to be about is my leveling spec as well as my early impressions from the game, but let's go over the build first. This is the spec I'm using. Of course, nothing in this early stage of the game is critical, but it's always nice to carefully consider your abilities so you can have a smoother leveling experience. I'm using a double generator build with Bioshell and Energy Auger. Bioshell is an overall amazing skill, however at this point it's mostly an investment in the future. As soon as I unlock tier 4, which is after level 25, the rather unpleasant 2-second cast time turns into an instant when I'm between 30 and 70 volatility, which will work excellently for an electrocute spender build, which is what this setup shapes up to be. For now though, it dishes out respectable damage and is a nice 30 volatility generator with the added bonus of debuffing your enemy so they take additional technology damage, which is a huge part of the punishment you deal. Energy Auger is the second generator that I use. Similarly to Bioshell, it has a damage component, however only half of it is upfront. The rest is dealt over time in a decently large area of effect. However, you will notice enemies not always lining up the way you want them to, and Energy Auger might not inflict damage up to its full potential. It's also static, meaning once you commit to a cast, you are done and you cannot adjust it like Electrocute. But I still consider it a good, reliable skill that will truly shine after level 25, when it will be used as an opener in fights, followed by an instant cast of Bioshell, shooting up my volatility and preparing me for a nice long cast of Electrocute. Electrocute is the spender of the build and is a major damage dealer in the engineer arsenal, especially against multiple targets, which is what the majority of the leveling combat consists of. It's a 3-second channel with a cost of 8 volatility per tick, or 48 for the entire duration, which is an amount that you can easily build up with your generators or in eradicate mode. It deals heavy technological damage in a straight line using the direction that you're facing, so unlike Energy Auger, you can adjust the direction to the movements of your enemies. Not having a base cost also removes any concerns about cutting it short for another ability. You can resume it at any time without a loss of volatility. Quick Burst is our fourth source of damage during a regular rotation. It has a prerequisite to cast it outside of its cooldown, and that is landing a critical hit. However, that is such a regular occurrence that you will probably have a Quick Burst ready after every other Electrocute. It's an instant with an excellent 25-meter range in a white cone in front of you, and to sweeten the deal further, it's off of the global cooldown and will not interrupt Electrocute. Finally, it can be considered a blessing or a downside, but Quick Burst is a one-point miracle type of skill where any progress point beyond the first will not yield enough benefit to be worth it, so I suggest using it as it is. As for the engineer's loyal companions, I'm using an artillery bot, which is a neat addition to our damage output with a very respectable active component that dishes out damage on par with our active skills. He scales nicely through the levels and has a great tier 4 upgrade incoming, so he's definitely worth putting points into. Bruiserbot is our second 1-point wonder boy, whose damage I will graciously not speak of, but whose active component, which is an interrupt and a taunt, you will make use of so many times that I consider him indispensable during leveling. I must note that the AI of both bots leaves something to be desired, and they have caused me some issues regardless of what behavior I instruct them to use, be it aggressive or defensive. It wasn't something game-breaking and is probably going to get fixed, but for now keep it in mind as something that can cause you annoyances. Up until recently I had Zap on my hotbar, and I can use it as a second interruption spell aside from Bruiserbot's active, but the leveling experience so far, and I hear it's the same later on, doesn't demand that much crowd control, so I replaced this skill with Volatile Injection at level 21. As a quick note, Volatile Injection is a steroid type ability which adds some defensive utility and improves my crit chance. Let's quickly go over the amps. I maxed out my Assault Power amps by level 9. After that, up until level 13, I saved up all 4 amp points, so upon hitting level 13, I could immediately get Volatility Rising, a crucial amp that will make volatility generation smoother and easier to keep above the 30 threshold. After that, I max out the cooldown amps by level 15 and the critical hit amps by level 18. As you can see, now I'm once again saving up amp points so I could take harmful hits immediately on level 22. This is it for the build between levels 1 and 20. Now I'll just share some thoughts about leveling in the Wildstar early game. As you might have experienced yourself in beta weekends or since release or seen in YouTube videos and streams, the leveling experience and the general structure of Wildstar is not going to blow your mind with innovation. There's nothing about the storyline or the presentation or the questing variety that will make you say, this is the next step of MMO evolution. Quite the contrary, Wildstar is a very traditional experience in that regard. The way the storytelling and the in-game tasks are handled is nothing that you haven't seen in World of Warcraft 2 expansions ago. So what does Wildstar actually offer? Well, I would argue that it offers the most important thing, something that I have not seen in an MMO that isn't WoW for so long, and that is gameplay solid as a brick. I was extremely dissatisfied with the flimsy, delay-ridden ways of the Old Republic and more recently Elder Scrolls Online, that getting into Wildstar was like a breath of fresh air in that regard. From the get-go, my character did exactly what I was telling him to do. Even in the early levels, I could see the clever interplay between skills, all the good stuff. It's just a bundle of joy for players that value the quality of gameplay above everything else. I'm definitely excited to continue my leveling adventures this week and see a wider spectrum of activities in the game, because I already know it's going to be an actual pleasure playing through them. So, this is it from me. I hope you liked what you saw, and if you did, I would greatly appreciate your subscription. Expect more Wildstar content very soon. Talk to me on Twitter and Facebook that I linked below if you'd like, and I'll see you guys next time.